welcome. I'm Cheryl Mitchell, the president of Trellivan Inc. We're a retreat and learning center located on a sheep farm here in Addison County, Vermont, that's interested in exploring the relationships between spirit, nature, and social justice. And you might wonder, so why are you doing a show about early childhood? And the main reason is that many of us think the ways that our communities treat our families with young children is a clear indication of our values in the community. And we feel very lucky to be here in Addison County doing this show jointly with Building Bright Futures, which is the group that brings together individuals and organizations that plan for children in our community, and Let's Grow Kids, which is the statewide public education campaign about the importance of the early years. So for today, we're going to be talking about the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children, which has been a phenomenally popular and also extremely, extremely important program in Vermont for 40 years. And I feel very fortunate that Jeff Heath, who's the supervisor of the WIC program, welcome Jeff,
Thank you,
and Gillian MacKinnon, who's the nutritionist, are here with us today to talk about the program. So thank you both for joining us. And before we launch in, I just have to say, I'm seeing your sign that says WIC's been around for 40 years. And I was remembering my family was on the WIC program when our kids were born, and it's making me feel a little aged that we were there just 2 years after the program started. I thought it had been there forever. So it's interesting to me that it didn't start until 1974. And I'm wondering if one of you would like to give us a little overview of what WIC is about, how it's set up.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, originally it started because there was a disproportionate number of young children who had low iron. And that was really the beginning of WIC, was to provide nutritious food and nutrition education to families who were living in poverty for the most part, and to get the kids healthier and to provide education for the families, to provide nutritious food and healthy options for their kids.
Huh. I didn't realize that it started around iron issues.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
has that changed? Are Vermont kids now healthier?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, I think we're dealing with different issues now, fast forward to 2015, where there's, the typical American diet is high calories, and we're dealing with kids that grow too fast and obesity and chronic illnesses that may result from that. So, we're still there. We're providing nutrition education and supplemental foods and helping families with nutrition with their kids.
So you're a nutritionist, right? You're a registered dietitian.
I am,
okay.
yeah.
Can you talk about what that means and what your role is in helping do nutrition education?
Sure. Yeah, there's a variety of us in the office, so not just myself that offer the nutrition education, but we work with pregnant women as early as they find out that they're pregnant. We encourage them to contact us and get on WIC as soon as possible. So we can provide them with nutrition education throughout the pregnancy. There's a lot of very important nutrients, especially in those early days. So there are a few of us that offer support during the pregnancy stage, and then we continue on with feeding infants, breastfeeding obviously being the best choice, but we do have other options for families if they choose. And then into childhood. So really we have nutrition education throughout the first birth to 5 years. And we do, a lot of iron-rich food education. All of the foods we offer on the WIC program right now are iron-rich, as well as whole grain, and there's a lot of really great benefits to the foods we offer.
So the package of food has changed over the years. Is that
accurate?
It's
definitely. It's ever changing, and soon, in just a minute, I think we'll be talking a little bit more about some of the upcoming changes, but there's been some changes as far as the amount of juice. That's been reduced to a more appropriate level over the past few years. Milk has changed. We offer skim 1% versus the whole milk for all stages. We only offer 1% until the child is 2. So changes like that, small changes, yeah.
Before we move on to the big changes, can you talk about how people usually find out about WIC, how they enroll, what kinds of questions you ask, sort of what's the paperwork side of WIC?
Well, sure. Most of the referrals come from our community partners who know about WIC. So the early childhood community, the provider offices, which we try to make ourselves very well known, so it's easy for families to access us. And what else?
I think he named the
one of the things that I sort of remember from when we first had children was thinking, well, somebody else needs this program more than I do. I shouldn't use it. And the nurses in the office saying, actually, the more people who use the program, the healthier our community is going to be, and that the more families who are enrolled, the more we're supporting our local farming economy, because at that point I think all the milk was coming from Monument Farms and the cheese was all local. And I'm wondering if you're still seeing that, if people are feeling that they shouldn't enroll because somebody else needs it more, or if it's now just widely accepted.
I think for the most part it's widely accepted. I mean, I have heard that before, where some people think that they're taking, if they accept it, that they're taking away from others, and that's really not true. And so what we say in response is that, this could save you money, that you could use that money to put towards bills or for something else. So we really try to promote the positive side. And anybody who is on Dr. Dinosaur or Medicaid is automatically eligible for the WIC program.
And
so it really
is it vice versa?
Streamlines being able to get on the program.
So you can apply for WIC and Medicaid at the same time, or Dr. Dinosaur at the same time?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we have a relationship with Economic Services, and so anybody that is eligible for Dr. Dinosaur, then we find out, and then if they're not already on WIC, then we outreach to them. We might call them or send them a letter and say, hey, did you know that you're eligible for WIC, and these are the great benefits for it, and all you need to do is call us and make an appointment.
And for the appointment, do people have to come to Middlebury, or are there outreach offices?
There is. We have clinics here in Middlebury. We also have a clinic in Bristol once a month, and in Virgins once a month. And then we also have a clinic at one of the local pediatric offices. So we try to pair the well child visit with the WIC appointment to make it that much more easier for the families to get two things done at once. Yeah.
Nice. At one point you were doing Spanish language WIC clinics. Is that still happening, or is there still outreach in Spanish?
Yeah, I mean, we do have some Spanish-speaking participants, definitely, and we have interpreter service for folks that don't speak Spanish, like myself, although Gillian speaks Spanish, so that's a real asset for us.
Great. How did you come to be Spanish-speaking?
When I was in high school, I actually went abroad, so I've lost quite a bit of it because it's been quite a few years, but I can definitely converse, so I need to get back into it, though, because we don't have too many Spanish speakers, so.
Right. Hard to keep it up.
It is
You're
hard to
not
keep
seeing
it up,
people all
yeah.
the time. Yeah. So when people come in for their WIC clinic, is it like going to a doctor's office? What happens?
Yeah, it's actually, we just recently set up our appointments. It's very friendly atmosphere when you come in. Our waiting room is very friendly. We've got a nice bulletin board for folks to look at, and when they come in, they fill out a little worksheet, and then we take them into a measurement room where we usually do heights and weights for babies' lengths, and then that will take usually 5-10 minutes, and then we bring them into another room and we chat about how things have been going. If they have any questions or concerns, and really we try to focus as much as possible on the nutrition education piece of it, but we're also a resource for a variety of other things going on in Addison County that may pertain to whatever stage that family is in. So if they have questions about car seats, or we can act as a resource for them.
So you can link families up with other supports.
Exactly. Yeah. In Addison County, we're very lucky. It's
Yeah, we are.
everyone knows everyone, and it's great for families because it makes it very streamlined for them.
Before we move on to the changes, can you tell us a little bit about your background, Gillian? How did you come to be a nutritionist, and how did you end up here in Addison County?
Well, who doesn't like to hold a baby? I mean, that was definitely, I've always loved infants, and obviously I wanted to tie in the nutrition piece to it, so what better program than the WIC program, and it's been definitely a job that I'll continue to love forever, and I don't know if I'll be leaving anytime soon, so.
You better not be.
No, but it's a wonderful job to work with women throughout the stage when they really want to provide the best for themselves and for their baby, and for then their families, so.
It sounds like there's a team of people, and I'm wondering if you could talk maybe about the peer counselors and their role in your office, and are there other people in your office that work with WIC?
I can speak to the peer counselors. So we currently have 6 breastfeeding peer counselors on staff, and what they do is offer support to women starting from the early stages in pregnancy until they have delivered their baby, and they really answer questions about breastfeeding, offer support, share with them the different events that are going on in the community. Right now they offer text support or over social media, so they are really meeting moms where they are, because not all moms like to talk on the phone. So
it's such a new world to me. People would do that with text.
That's a really important point. I mean, we really try to meet the women and families where they're at, and so the appointments are really participant driven, and so we don't necessarily have a script that we go by. We find out what are they dealing with, what are their issues that they're dealing with as a family in terms of nutrition or health, and then we try to provide guidance and support around what they're dealing with and what's important to them.
Yeah.
So we use a lot of motivational interviewing and techniques, and I mean, there's certain things that we have to follow in terms of our the regulations that we have to follow, but certainly it's participant driven, and we make it as much as what they want to get out of the appointment as possible.
We had a wonderful experience. One of your peer counselors, when my daughter was pregnant, walked right up to her in the store and said, "Oh, I see you're pregnant. Are you on WIC?" And she said, "Well, no." And she said, "Well, you should be. You could be. Would you like to be?" And my daughter hadn't even thought about it before. So they're out there really encouraging people to be part of it. And she found that support, that ongoing support, to be fantastic. It was just help with pumping and breastfeeding and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear the stories of all the women that have been impacted and families that have been impacted by the breastfeeding peer counselors, because they are a huge part of our program, and sometimes because they're not in our office aren't seen as often as everybody else.
Yeah.
So
That's a relatively new program, or?
It's been
2008.
2008, yeah,
Right.
so it's been around for several years.
So there are new changes coming down the road for WIC. I think you're calling it eWIC, and I'm wondering if one of you will explain what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
Sure, yeah. So, well, presently, WIC in Vermont has been a home delivery system, and statewide. And so it went from weekly to twice a month, where they would split up the food order and deliver it to the person's door. And now we are one of the first states the first state that's going from home delivery directly to.
We're the first. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
directly to an electronic benefits card. What other states have done is they've gone from home delivery to checks or vouchers to the e-WIC card.
Yeah.
So we skipped over all that and went directly to the electronic benefits card. And so it's rolling out now across the state. The Rutland County was the pilot, and the pilot ran over the summer. And now all of the district offices, there's 12 in Vermont, 12 WIC offices in Vermont, will, over the course of the fall and early winter, will transfer from the home delivery system to the electronic card, and also from a paper record system to an electronic record system. So big changes, and we're really excited about it. And I think it's really going to be nice for the families, because there is going to be a lot more food choices than with home delivery. There's 12,000.
I was going to hold up one of these
Sure.
just briefly to say, I don't know if our audience can see that. This is obviously not 12,000 items.
Right, right. But this gives you the categories. Breakfast cereals and beans, whole wheat pasta is a new item. Whereas before with home delivery, it was really limited in terms of the choices that the families could make. So we think it's going to be really exciting for them. They're going to be able to do it when they need the food. So they can go to the store, they can buy a little bit at a time and go back over the course of the month. Whereas now they may get, with 2 times a month delivery, they may get a huge amount of food items all at once, and for some families that was difficult when you get 5 gallons of milk showing up at once, and so we're really excited about it. The other thing too is that the families will go from having to provide a proof of delivery each month, which was how I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But it was really, it could be a very, it was one of the barriers. It turned into one of the barriers for staying on the program, because the proof of delivery didn't get into the dairy's hand, and that's how they got paid for the food that they delivered. And so now there's 2 appointments a year, and then there's 2 nutrition education activities that would be required of the families. So it's really going from 12 responsibilities over the course of the year to 4, and we think it'll be a lot more fun. We're going to have online options for nutrition education, and we have a quarterly baby shower that's been very, very popular, where women and families can come, and we have food and
at your office.
At
there's
our
a baby
office,
shower?
yep,
Wow.
quarterly. Books, donated books for children, and clothing, and then education around what to expect from a newborn baby, and feeding issues and cues, and that kind of thing. So we're really excited
Sounds
about
like
it, and
fun,
we're hoping
yeah.
that the family
Are
will
you-
be beneficial to the families.
Are you worried that people buy nothing but peanut butter? I mean, what are your concerns as a nutritionist, or if you have any concerns about shifting rather than giving people a package?
So the e-WIC card is very smart, and folks will be educated on how much of each food they are eligible to purchase. So they won't have the option to buy, 10 things of peanut butter. They'll have a specific package based on the child's age or their stage.
So, these categories are the kinds of categories that
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There will be a few added things, so they can mix and match different foods like cheese, milk, and yogurt. But those types of things are all figured out during the WIC appointment, so they walk away knowing what they're able to get on that card.
Cool. Okay, so I was going to ask, it sounds like it's not the same as a SNAP card. So SNAP card can be used, that EBT can be used for anything. There's some exclusions, but you're pretty much in charge of what you buy. And it sounds like WIC is really helping the families to make sure that they're making the food choices that they and their kids need.
Right, right. It'll be a lot of education for the families and for us to teach them what the types of foods WIC offers if they haven't been on WIC already. For those that are
Right.
switching over and they're already familiar with the WIC foods, I think it'll be very easy for them. But there's a really nice food guide, which you can see the small picture right here in the corner.
Maybe.
Well, that food guide gives folks all of the options that they'll be able to choose from.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be teaching from. And we'll encourage folks to bring that for the first few times to the grocery store and to actually write out their list, because it can be frustrating because there are specific items that they can get, and as you're getting used to that, I'm sure that'll be frustrating.
At their WIC appointment, we will be able to give them a printed food list of items that are on their food package. And then what's nice about the card is that the receipt that the family will get will tell them what they have left on their food package for the month, so they know. And they can also go to customer service and they can swipe the card and they can tell the participant what they have on their food list if they didn't happen to bring it with them. So it's a very smart card, and we're working with the grocery stores to really streamline it and really make it friendly for the families, and so it's not something that will be noticeable at the checkout, that it'll just
So
look
it
like
won't be like the old days of food stamps where you had to be
it
embarrassed.
looks just
that-
like
yeah.
a credit card, like a debit card. Yeah.
And did things go smoothly in Rutland when they rolled this pilot out?
Yeah, for the most part it did. I mean, there were certainly things that they found out and improved upon right away, and I think as the offices roll out, that it'll do nothing but continue to improve. So we're really thankful for
when
them.
is our county online?
We're not
for the rollout?
until 2016 in March is when we'll have our training and start to sign families up for it at that point. So we have a little bit of time, but we want to get the message out to families now so they can look forward to it and be prepared for it.
Do you see other changes coming down the road with the WIC program?
Well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, this is a huge change, and I think this is right now this is the change that's happening. But I don't foresee.
Do you have when you look at kids' nutrition? I mean, do you have dreams for other things that we as a community should be addressing that we're not? I know at one time the WIC program was seen as really supporting local farmers, and it sounds like, if I'm reading this right, it will still be able to do that if people make those choices.
We'll still have the fruit and vegetable option, which can be used for fruit and vegetables that are grown locally. We'll still have the farm to family coupons every summer, which are a benefit for any family that's on WIC for $30 of coupons that they can use at the farmers market, where they can access local foods.
And you said you're also working right now. The likely stores in this county will be Hannaford's and the Three Shaws, but you're working now with others, with the Co-op and some other places. We're trying to make the smaller stores, able to participate.
Right.
There is a minimum inventory that a store needs to maintain in order to be a WIC approved store, and so we're working with those smaller stores to get as many options for families as possible.
Great, thank you. So we're getting close to running out of time, and I'm wondering if there are questions I should have asked either of you that I failed to ask, or things that you would like to say about either WIC or this local community.
I think WIC is a wonderful program, and the more outreach that we can do, the better. We're hoping that more people will want to be on WIC with this new EBT card. What we saw in Rutland was that their caseload increased significantly in the first month of the program. So we're hoping that more people who are eligible for it will sign up for it. and
Great.
take advantage of it.
Okay. And how about your hopes, Gillian? Anything?
I think with getting the message out to all of our community partners and really those who work with pregnant or birth through 5, sharing the changes and sharing it in a positive way will be extremely helpful for us. And the more that people talk about it, the better it will be. So.
Right. Well, thank you both for coming on the show and getting the word out to the public. And we'd also like to thank Middlebury Community Television for giving us this studio time. They're a wonderful organization to work with. So if you happen to have information that you'd like to get out to the public, if your nonprofit has pressing news, or if there's basic information that you would like to see families have access to, please give them a call. They're wonderful to work with. And thank you for watching today.